Dialed in
to Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these
because
stuff.
they know the brews.
And they know the Bucks, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, cause shit's not funny.
And save yourself some
Beer money, bucks,
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
and
brews.
brews.
Bucks and Brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. Nick, we're getting better at this. We've been 2 weeks in a row now.
Not to say, you're welcome.
Sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's mine.
School starts in like 2 days. Coaching season's coming up. We're getting screwed here.
Yeah, we probably are.
You know what? To have 2 in a row, we're doing all right. But because we hit you for 2 in a row, I'd like you guys to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate you joining us, and we love doing this.
What are you drinking, my friend?
Oh, I'm sponsored by you again for my last one. Remember that whole rule of only 2?
Yeah,
I broke that one
drank
last week.
5.
So it's great.
Again, it's like a quarter of a beer. One of
Let's
them.
say so PBRs we can do a little, but anyway, I'm drinking PBR again. My last one, my only one for the night, but I might grab a bottle off the shelf there. And
There is one in the fridge.
oh, is okay, perfect. Yeah, so,
I will not be drinking tonight.
yeah, good for you.
So you remember last year when I described having an ailment that was like tending to a drunk friend going to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, good.
So saw my urologist today and she prescribed me some stuff. So now I'm on medication to hopefully clear this shit up and I can go back to my regular scheduled drinking.
Marijuana for your glaucoma. So you know what I say. I'm very excited for today. Okay, I know I just have to get into it. We have a guest that you met in the greatest way
The
possible.
worst way possible. So Marcus and his lovely girlfriend, I'm gonna say girlfriend, I don't know, wife, fiance, I have no idea.
Don't ask,
Came
don't
in,
tell.
came in to celebrate their anniversary
Yeah.
a couple Sundays ago. And they have a great time at break room therapy and they go to leave and she comes back in and she's like, "Oh, I left my keys." And we're like, "Cool. Did you use a locker?" And she goes, "No." So she starts looking and can't find them. So we all start looking and can't find them. So Jordan's digging in the trash and can't find them. So Marcus and I are digging in the trash and we can't find them. We literally turned this place upside down. My employees have still been looking for the last week trying to locate these keys. We never found them.
Oh man.
So I knew they had driven a ways to get here. So they'd driven a couple hours. And they weren't really sure, you know, all right, well, we could get a locksmith out here, but that's going to be after 7 o'clock. And of course, we close at 5, but literally we closed after our last appointment's done. 4:30 got here at like 4 o'clock. So
Yeah.
we were going to be out of here by 4:30. I guess they called her mom, I believe, and her mom was coming, but still 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So he's asking if there's someplace, you know, they can, like a restaurant they can hang out at, and Culver's is a mile and a half away. I'm like, I mean, you could walk it, but it's going to be hot as shit. It was hot.
Well, yeah. So it's been hot here.
So I said, you know, I don't mind giving you guys a ride down there. So we get in my car and he sees our window cling. And he goes, "You guys make your own coffee or something?" And I said, "No, actually, I do a financial podcast with my buddy while we drink beers." And he goes, "Oh, really? Let's talk about the recession." So fast forward to, we're in the car for 30 minutes talking while we're sitting at Culver's because we were having such an engaging conversation. And I said, "Listen, if you ever want to be on," and then I got a message late last week saying, "All right, I'm buying my first home. I have questions."
Right.
So I think that's the best introduction I can do for you, Marcus. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
That's great. That's great for me. So I'm from Detroit, and I'm buying my first home at the age of 30. Golden age, right? You know, they say everything gets serious at 30, I guess.
Fuck, is that what
But
they say?
I
Missed that
guess
one.
they call it the dirty 30 for some reason. I don't know what reason it is.
I thought it was because I was getting dirty trash drunk. All right.
So yeah, buying my first house, and it is a pain, and I'm so confused all the time about what is going on and why it's so difficult. So yeah, that's
Perfect.
about it. And meeting David was probably the most interesting thing that I could ever say so far in my life.
The funny thing is, you know, I say we haven't met in person. You know, David is like the quiet, reserved, I don't want to fucking talk to people thing. But again, I tell everybody, I was like, everybody's like, "Oh, I don't know how to talk to David." And I was like, 2 things: talk Star Wars or talk fucking money. That dude will not shut the fuck up. And they're like, really? And I was like, yeah, but don't be a dumbass, right? And he's like, but dude, and so David's telling me, he's like, yeah, I have a half hour conversation with this guy about money, and it's just, and I was like, all right, I'm definitely down for a person that can hold a conversation.
We had a great talk. We talked money, we talked politics, we talked a little bit of everything. We
Yeah.
talked about the business. I mean, it was a very stimulating conversation for me. I went home, told my wife that I was so sad that we couldn't find their keys and shit. And
Yeah.
she was flabbergasted. She's like, they gotta fucking be there. So she
Yeah.
went to the business and looked, and she couldn't find them.
Marcus, are you gonna break room therapy over in Detroit now?
That should be something I should do, man. That day
So-
was stressful, and this is even more stressful.
So, all right, walk me through your first question, I guess. I mean, you can either A, walk me through what you've done so far, or just hit right with the questions.
I'll walk you through what I've done so far. David knows a bit of this conversation. So, when I started to get in the mortgage process, I was clean in it. Everything seemed to be rolling pretty decently, and I checked my credit score at least like once a month or something like that. I checked in July, and unbeknownst to me, my credit score went from 800 to 670, 690 because of a collection that was a medical collection that I had no clue about from 2020. And so it tarnished my credit score, and it was very difficult to try to even talk to the mortgage lender about what's going on, because they were just up in arms, like, oh, we don't know what to do. So
Yeah.
it was very frustrating for me, because not only is the mortgage process frustrating, that was just very upsetting to see that. So fast forward a little bit, and my first question is, why is it important to have a significant amount of money for closing costs? Because I feel like there are some hidden fees in there that I don't understand.
Okay. All right. So, first question is, why is it important for closing to have money for closing cost? All right. So it's not, they're, I wouldn't say they're hidden fees, right? They're going to be on your closing statement. So they're going to give that to you. The problem is they only give that to you a week or two ahead of time, right? They're going to say, hey, look at all this stuff. And you're just going to get hit with this big effing number, right? So, it's going to be consisting of the title work, right? So they're going to pull title to make sure that, just like a car, right? So like if you have a clean title versus a repairable title, or a salvage title. And they have to sell a house, you have to have it clean. Meaning that nobody else, like a contractor, couldn't put a lien on it. You didn't make a loan with somebody to have a lien on, so nobody else can have a lien besides the first. Everybody has to get paid off in order for you to buy this.
There can't be some kind of claim to that property.
Exactly. Yeah. So that costs money for that. There is, gosh, and it's funny because I never fight that fee, which is $1,000, $2,000, whatever it might be. Like they're honestly, depending on it's usually based off of purchase price is kind of what it is. So I don't want to say 1,000, 2,000, but that's my normal for what I buy. I fight the like $50 fee because they had to wire transfer money or something, and I was like, "Are you shitting? Like, I can go get you a check for $7, and we can't get a $1 million check, And I was like, "Don't charge me $50 for the wire transfer, right?" So I fight those. It's those little things that kind of add up. You're gonna have, so you're on the buy side. So the seller should be paying the commission unless it's, new commission rules are coming out here soon. So I think that's going to change some things. So yeah, why have the money is because, everything cost, say it's not just the 3.5% in down payment. It is everything else to be able to purchase that home for final. It's just like when you go buy a car, you're paying taxes on top of that price that you agreed upon. You're paying title. You're paying for the plate to get on it. You're paying for, tax, title, and plate, right? So it's technically hidden fees there that everybody forgets about. So, have they given you your closing statements yet?
So they literally gave it to me last week, Friday.
Yep.
And it was essentially what you said. It was like, read all this stuff and sign it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
asking questions throughout the entire process because all I do is read linguistic paperwork and also understand what's going on. So there were a few things that were very alarming in that. I forget exactly the title of this particular piece, but it was basically stating if there was anything that came up in the mortgage process, then there would be no harm done to the mortgage lender or the seller. And I'm like, well, what does this mean? It's like, well, pretty much if someone lied and said that this was a price for something, or if they found something else going on with the property, then technically you can't sue them. I'm like, wait, what?
Hmm.
But what if there is something that happens? Say if the seller lied about, I don't know, there was some kind of a lead-based paint, something random like that,
Sure.
and it was to their knowledge, but they did not. So I pretty much, once I sign this, I can't come up and say, hey, you guys lied and you should pay me for it.
Yeah.
Like, well, technically, yeah. So, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, and so you're gonna get a seller's disclosure, and so the on there, right, the seller has to disclose everything that they know about the property to the best of their knowledge, right? And then you have to it's signed swore statement, right? So like, hey, how old is the roof? If you don't know, just write I don't know, right? And so like, if you ask me, unless I did that work on when I'm flipping a house, like if we did that roof, we did everything. If I don't touch the furnace, literally just I don't know. The person I just bought it from could have said they put it in 2 days ago, and I still would say I don't know because I don't know.
You have no
I'm not
knowledge.
taking that risk. So, I err on the side of caution because I don't want to get sued and type of a thing. That's weird. So you will have your honestly. If anything happens so let's say there's mold in the attic, right? There's a 99% chance that the seller really had no idea. I mean, David, when's the last time you've been up in your attic?
Years.
Right. Like
Years.
I've owned this current house for 10 years, 9 years now. Never once been in the attic.
We
It's
go
just-
upstairs 3-4 times a year, maybe, because it was Caitlin's room and
Yep.
she's not up there and there's no reason for us to go up there.
Yep. But like, now if there's, if you tear the walls off and see that there's lines of flooding, you can, if this this spring comes and you happen to get water in the basement and all that, and you tear off the paneling and there's lines there, sure, you might be able to have something that says, hey, yeah, this is flooded and I know you have, and insurance will get subpoenaed, a bunch of things like that, because I've seen that happen quite a bit, right? People try to cover things up and it's just not the right thing to do.
Is this one of the reasons inspections are so important?
Yeah, I mean, especially for, let's say, inspections are always important. Unless you're getting it for such a great deal, right? I'm forced to do inspections. I say that's other things that are going to be on you talk about having money for closing costs. Inspections are usually paid by you. I assume you paid for the inspection out of your pocket already.
Oh, yeah.
The appraisal, I don't know. I don't know if they charged you up front for it or not. But it's going to be on there, right? They're going to charge you for the appraisal because you had to pay for it. Let's say my advice is, so you're going to have escrows, right? So escrows consist of your insurance for the year, because they're going to make you pay that. And so then, if you get a discount to pay it by the year, so then they just escrow it. And then you're going to have your taxes, which include your state transfer taxes, right? Which we talked about. So like changing that title from one to the other. You're going to have taxes of property. So you're going to pay the difference of, whatever the remainder of the year. So you're buying it August 15th. Somebody, the person paid from whatever January 1st to August 15th. You now owe the rest of the summer, and then you'll get hit with a winter tax coming up. And that's all going to be rolled into your closing cost. I mean, everything just.
Can we talk about property taxes for a minute?
Yeah.
Can
we,
those
please?
change when you buy the house?
Oh God, it's going to change. It's not.
I knew I was leading you into this.
Yeah.
So
Here's the problem. Here's the problem that I hate with every loan officer except for Rob. So,
Rob is the best.
well, because and Marcus, I was just like you when I bought my first house, right? Like I just asked every effing question to every person, and they all got annoyed and stopped answering the phone. But no, I mean, like literally, the ones that kept answering the phone, they're the ones that are still on my team, though, right?
Right.
I mean, dude, I haven't used Rob in years, but you use him. I'm still sending him to people because I know how good of a job he does. Anyway, so all right, what's going to happen, Marcus, for property taxes? You're going to get charged based off of the amount of property taxes that the current owner pays. I hope that makes sense to you. So if they bought it back in 2010, just stupid number, so 14 years ago, whatever, for half the price that you did, at most, I'm doing 2010 just because it's past the, I'm sorry, when the foreclosure crisis and all that. So
Okay.
it's kind of what I picked today.
Because it's past the recession.
The recession, right? So, all right, you're 2010, 2011, whatever it is. So every year, the max that they're allowed to go up is, just shy of like 3%, right? So, and it's not going to hit what the new cost is.
So
So,
let's say they bought it at 50.
Yep.
And now you're buying it at 100. So you see their taxes and you think, oh, well, that's what my taxes are going to be. Yeah, they're not.
it's going to be 2,000. No. So now because their taxes are technically probably, I mean, there's a huge percentage that it's based off of 25,000, and over the 3%, because state equalized value is usually, to be clear on this, it's not always, but usually half of the purchase price, that you've done. So again, 100,000, 50. The person that bought it for 50 is 25,000. So, they're going to pay, and these are make believe numbers, right? We can make them up.
Let's
We can
just
make them
pretend.
higher if we want, right? 250,000 off of $1 million.
Right.
So they're going to pay $2,000, $2,400 a year, just because I want to have even numbers. So they're paying $200 a month in escrow in property taxes. Well, now when you purchase it for 100 and their state equalized value is only gone up to like 30,000 and they're at that 200 range, well, you're going to go up to state equalized value of 50,000. So you've almost doubled your taxes, right? And so that 200 is now going to look like $400 a month, right? And that's where people always get, holy crap, how did this happen? Well, I mean, your taxes literally just doubled. And so we're using such small numbers, right? Now, if you're going with the person, we had a house in East Grand Rapids for a while, right? And it started out as like 6,000. And then the person that bought it is now like, they're paying like $14,000 a year.
Mhm.
Right. So
Oh
it's
my
it's
God.
more than what I was, it's more than double what I was paying. Right. And at $6,000, I mean, that's, I don't know. I can even do math. 12, 24, that's $500 a month.
500 bucks a month.
Right? Like that's just insane. So, and they're paying $1,100 now.
Yeah.
Right. Just a month, just in property taxes, not. And so they have to, the problem is the problem that I have is that they will get approved based off of my $6,000 tax rate. Right. So they're
Which of course means that they may not actually be able to afford that house in a year.
correct. Right. In 1 year, when the tax thing catches up with everybody. So they've, because they've done their numbers. They're like, all right, hey, my house payments, my principal, right? So a principal, Marcus, I don't mean to talk down, but a principal is just the amount of money you've paid towards that original purchase price. So if you paid $100,000 principal, you're making your little bit of pennies towards it. So now you owe $99,999 after the first month. The interest is the amount of money that they're charging you to borrow the money on that $100,000. So, and they break it down through a 30-year or a 15-year fixed rate or whatever, so you're going to be stuck with that payment is never going to change, right?
Nope.
Unless you go refi or things like that. So no matter what's going to happen, principal and interest will stay the same, right? You have the choice. Even if you overpay, that payment will stay the same until you're done. Now, taxes and insurance are the two things that are going to make your payment change price. So if right now you're quoted, $1,500 a month, next year at this time, your payment will actually be $1,700 or, who knows? Okay. So Marcus, if I'm going too fast for you, let me know. But
No, I get what you're saying.
Awesome. So, and a quick tip for you. Have you done the math yet for this?
Yes. So far, let's see. Buying a house in Southfield. Taxes there are astronomically high. House is worth I don't know what the appraisal is, but right now I'm offering 215. My monthly is going to be about a smooth 1675
Okay.
a month.
Currently, right? How long ago did the house sell? Do you know? Like not to you, but like to the other person before that?
That was back in 2011.
Oh, so
Maybe?
it's yeah, your taxes are gonna go crazy. Let me see if I can um actually so there's probably a tax calculator online. I'm in Southfield right now trying to figure out if there's a sorry, residence. Um but like I know I just use my Wyoming one, but so you can go online and just do a property tax calculator. Property tax calculator and oh, so literally smart asset pops up. You can type in, can you tell me the zip code?
It, give me a second. What is that zip code? It is 48076.
076. Okay. Um, Oakland County, property taxes. So your property taxes on that value will end up being 3,861 annually is the rough estimate. It's a pretty, that's on 270. And so 3,861, which is about 300 a month divided by 12, $321. So take your principal and your interest, add $321. And then I don't know what you were quoted for your insurance. Insurance is up like crazy right now. I always budget like $100 a month.
I would say $100 is usually average.
So so now you're 421 and sorry, mortgage calculator. You said 270, correct, Marcus?
For the house?
Yeah.
215.
Oh, 15. Oh, sorry. 215,123. So 15. And your pay they quoted you at a payment of how much?
Initially, it was supposed to be 14, and then because of the credit scare or whatever, it was 1675.
That's is that with taxes and insurance?
Taxes, insurance. Well, they estimated the insurance, but yeah,
Sure.
taxes, insurance, and everything.
Principal tax. Wow. What interest rate did you get locked in at?
5.99.
Ah, damn, good for you. You hit the good part of the numbers. So, yeah, so 1,300. So I have at 215 at 5.99, I have 1,288 for principal and interest. 1,288, and we said 1,288, $421. So your actual, and you said they quoted you at 16 something currently, right? I'm sorry.
Yep.
I should be writing all this down.
No, sorry.
How much a month did they quote you at?
Yep, 1675.
1675. Honestly, that's a really close number. If all my numbers are correct in Oakland County and the taxes for a but yeah, you're gonna be so whoever you have did you write and put in the new tax rate versus the old tax rate? Because yeah, I have 1709 as a number, and again, we're high on insurance and stuff like that. So yeah, next year you shouldn't get scared too much of your new tax rate, because whoever did it is calculating correctly. So
For what it sounds like.
for what say from the numbers and things that you've given us. So
That's
tell
the
your
hope,
lender.
because I've spoken with a city official, and apparently they have an ordinance now or a policy that just went into effect that per 100,000 on the home that you or property that you have, it's $250 a month extra for your taxes. I don't know why that is. I don't even know what that is.
Okay,
So,
so that I don't know the exact answer. My guesses are the fact that you guys have a what did we just a millage that went into place, right? Everybody voted to raise taxes for something that you guys are going to be getting, right? Whether it's a library, whether it's, fixing the damn roads, whether it's, street lights, whether improving the schools, a new baseball field. So sorry, millages are things that people vote and approve, and that's where tax rates then become a new thing. So 60 cents,
For every thousand of taxable value.
yeah. Does it say why?
Is not,
Yep.
but I'm sure I can find it if I keep looking.
Yep. No, you're good. So 215, 3 times 0.6. Oh, I'm sorry. Divided by $1,000, you said? Times 0.6 is $129. Yep. So yeah, I say from what we're looking at, just from the sales field, 60 cents on the dollar, $129 a month, tax wise. So, yeah, so again, and that's gonna last for however long the millage is. So you'd have to talk back to that person or figure out your local thing on why and how long that money's gonna last there.
okay. So in this process, then I'm factoring in taxes. Insurance is something that I was told to look for my car insurance service that I use, which I'm gonna do to figure that out. But when it comes to even understanding if I'm getting a good deal or not, how will I know other than the comps, which is I'm sure you guys have talked about comparables and how that's broken down. But if not, go ahead and
Oh,
break that
so
down.
You do get a discount if you bundle your insurance with most insurance companies.
Wow.
I get one.
No, sorry, this is just I'm now confused a little bit. Marcus, were you talking about how do you know if you're getting a good deal on insurance, or how do you know if you're getting a good deal on the house itself?
Both.
Because like David, I took it as the house and you took it as insurance.
Well, yeah,
That's why I
both.
kind of
mean,
split that into
No,
a
that's great.
two-parter.
Yeah, no, that's great. Because I was like, man, this is it's because he was running comparables, and I was
Yeah.
like, all right. So yeah, with insurance, right? I mean, you can just hit up a bunch of different companies. One thing I never suggest to anybody in their life, right, is going online and getting an insurance quote and putting your real information in there, because damn, your phone won't stop ringing.
No, it will not.
Jeez, I'm
Don't
crying.
use those compare sites.
No, God, no, because everybody and their brother will call you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you use any of them, and I usually when they call me, just tell them to fuck off.
Oh,
I got the information I need. Fuck off.
yeah, Courtney did it, and she's like, I don't understand why I'm getting so many calls. I'm like,
Because you gave
down?
up your information.
You didn't get them for like 3 days. So, yeah, like that one really, it's funny. This is why me being old school works, because I call my person up and say, this is what I need. I don't have to go online and then get a quote and do all that. So yeah, your car insurance, and it's surprising that you already have loan docs and you haven't picked an insurance company yet, to cover. But, also, I want to be, I don't want to, lead you into whatever path, but, I would start making connections with an insurance person. That way you can ask them questions. Make sure that they have your best interest at heart, not just their pocketbook, right?
Right.
And they're going to try to sell you, there's, 3 different perils that are out there, right? So like one's going to cover, a normal loss, one's going to cover a total loss, one's going to be replacement value of, of total, of appraised loss, so, I have a house built in 1890 or 1860, whatever it is. So to rebuild that house would cost astronomical money, right? You just can't do it. So like, I have, a replacement cost based off of today's numbers, so that has plaster. I now get to replace it with drywall.
Mhm.
You know, that has a stone foundation. I get to replace it with, you know, a brick foundation, a poured foundation, you know, something like that. So, you know, just find out from them, hey, what does it cover? Make sure you have all your stuff covered. Now as far as the house, to know if it's a good value, when you're buying a house, it's a horrible value. Let's say, no. How to know if it's a good value? Yeah, I mean, right, you say they ran comps, and comps is just something to say, hey, yes, this is what everything else in the area is kind of worth. Um, and so if you're above the appraised number, yeah, okay, you have a little bit of equity into that house. Now I say, hey, how do you know if you know, David, you say it all the time, right? You're not looking to sell the house tomorrow.
Well, I mean, that's my question. Marcus, how long do you want to be in this house?
That's a good question. I was looking to be in this house for no longer than 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Uh,
no longer than 9 years, and then rent it after that.
Okay. So not getting rid of it, just using it as a passive income.
Yeah, it's definitely a hold for me because the area is a sweet area. It's around quite a bit of, I guess, if you would say, status. Unfortunately, the way that this place is set up,
Mhm.
but it definitely isn't a forever spot for me. Not 30 years, I would say.
yeah.
Well, I would say that for me, that always makes me judge things a little differently because you're not looking to sell the house in 9 years.
Right.
You're looking to hold on to it long term. So when my daughter was looking for a place, talking to our agent, I'm like, yeah, I'm just worried about the market. I'm worried about a crash. And he goes, all right, well, when did you buy your house? Well, I bought my house in 2007 when I turned 30. He goes, in the market crash, what'd you do? Well, I kept paying my mortgage just like always. He goes, all right, so the market crashes tomorrow. What's Caitlin going to do? She's going to pay her mortgage. He goes, all right, then why do you care?
Mm.
Yeah, I never really looked at it that way. So you're buying an asset that should appreciate in value, and you're looking to hold on to it long term. So then the only question is, are we getting it for the right price?
Yes.
Well, and you know, I guess to add on to that, right? You already said, hey, it's in a bougier area, right? Now you got to figure out, hey, is it a capped out already bougie, you know, like, or is it just starting to become
Is it up and coming?
right? Like, you know, hey, and up and coming doesn't mean, you know, hey, within the next like day, 2 week, what? Do I see that people are still going to be moving here in the next 10 years,
Yeah.
or is it like, hey, everybody's already moved here. It's already established. It's going to stay established forever. Like that's going to kind of plateau you. You know, sure, you always want the price to go up a little bit, right? Let's say $5,000 a year, kind of a thing, just rough numbers. But now, if it's an up and coming, right? Now our appreciation is going to be a lot higher because
Mhm.
people are over the next 10 years, people are going to want to be there, right? Like, hey, it's too expensive to be downtown, but like we love the little extra air. We love having a yard. We love having these types of things, right? So that's, I look into those things a lot when I purchase, right? Like, hey, I want to be in the next area people want to be in, right? If I had a family, where would I want to be, right? And that's the areas. So that's how I look at value as well. Like everything's a judge and a question, but if you see that there's, an area that I don't know, there's, constant, constant graffiti all over the walls and the cops are constantly there and it's the areas you don't think the area's ever going to turn, right? I mean, we all know that area, right? We've all been
Burton Division in Grand Rapids.
burning right, like exactly. It's never going to change. It's never no matter how much you fight, people are always going to destroy something nice that's going to be there, right? You can put up the nicest thing and it's going to be gone.
Mhm.
So that's how I look at value as well. You know comps to me is just a number at this moment, right? Because it's what it comps at right now.
Right.
Tomorrow everything could go to shit and it'll comp out at $12. Tomorrow everything can be amazing and it'll comp out at $550,000. So
Well, the interesting thing about especially Grand Rapids, because I was out there back in like the early 2000s when it was a will it or will it not become a good city. area. How did you guys kind of see that becoming more than what it is now?
I didn't say, just to be honest with you, I didn't. I have this fight with people all the time. Okay, so um, you're familiar with Grand Rapids a little bit, it sounds like. So we have a street called Wealthy Street. Okay. Back in my day, it was trash. I mean, I remember when I first, so back in 2010, I could, even so 07 to 10,
Wealthy where?
wealthy,
Like
in-
downtown? or-
yeah, like by the
So
hospital.
we're not
but like that road going up there.
by St. Mary's.
Yeah.
So we're not talking like East Town.
Division and Wealthy is what I'm talking
Okay,
about.
yep.
Well, even East Town. I mean, just before, but Division and Wealthy going up kind of a
Yep.
thing. You behind Donkey, like I remember looking at the house behind Donkey and I could have bought it for $20,000, 15,000. But and so everybody's like, oh, I could have bought all these houses for $3,000 and now they're worth $500,000. And it's like, okay, the problem is if you bought it and I bought it for $5,000, we would not have put the $150,000 into these houses. We wouldn't. It took a village to come in and
You
everybody
would have
had
put 20 in.
right. I would have put enough just to, get by and say, hey, it's functioning. So, how I don't look big picture enough, and that's one thing I wish I could do. Just to be honest with you. But I know that I have to have everybody behind me or have a big enough pocketbook to buy enough places to be the change, right?
Well, see, and I look at Grand Rapids like any other big city because I mean we are technically a big city, second biggest city in Michigan.
Yep.
You have pockets that are great, and you have pockets that are not so great.
Yep.
And would I want to live in downtown Grand Rapids? I would not. Nothing against the area, but
Yep.
The mass transit here is horrible. Rental prices are insane. And the housing options are not great. Is it a great place to live just outside of the city? I think it is. When you go to some of these suburbs, they're preferable to live in because, you don't have the daily grind of dealing with downtown.
Yep.
And your house values are typically better unless you're living right downtown.
Right. It is like I have friends that rent downtown and live downtown,
Mhm.
and they do it because they're still young and stupid, right? Or they have one of my friends, right? Their daughter is a senior, and they want them to have like this awesome last year, and it's like they can't even go to the bars. They can't even do like, what are you talking about? So Fresh 21, sure, go to live right above the bars, do all the fun stuff. So, yeah, what areas are going to be good? So the real answer to that question is follow the crime, right?
Yep.
Where crime has a mass amount, you'll never get value out of. Again, it goes back to that, if I put $100 bill on my porch, how long until it gets taken, right? Kind of a thing. So if we put up a nice, let's say we had sorry, Black Calder Brewing.
Yeah.
Right. He wanted to be in a certain area and stuff like that. And it's like, okay. But if he goes and opens a bar or a brewery, he knows for a fact that he's gonna have trouble on a constant basis,
Mhm.
right? Because it's just, hey, this is what it is. People will always be people, and that's the hard part, right? So and there's people out there who hate people who are successful. And they're gonna make it hard for them to be there. So I think if you follow the crime, I mean, which there's crime everywhere, right? I mean, David lives in a great area. I live in a great area. Marcus, sounds like you're going to be living in a great area here soon. There's always going to be crime. It's just now how much of it is there? How often? How often are cops getting called? How much policing needs to be done? So, yeah, figure out that like as the crime goes down, that's the area that's coming up and things like that.
I think that's interesting, even as I noted that I'm from Detroit and seeing how huge of a flip Detroit is doing now within the last 5 years. The question will be, can gentrification be a good thing for predominantly, I guess, if you would think of the follow the crime scenarios, a predominantly crime-filled city, because of um, the unfortunate reframing or maybe framing of black people being more violent than others. Could gentrification be more of a good thing in that case?
Well, saying I think a lot of that we're fighting against a lot of that right now. I mean, you and I had that talk.
Yeah.
It we need to find actual solutions. This is why people hate voting, because you elect somebody and they don't do any of the shit that they say they're going to do. We need to elect people that are actually looking to solve the problems instead of just, like the Supreme Court has done, make homelessness a crime.
Mhm.
Lack of housing should not be a crime. Lack of housing is something we need to fix. We could fix, but there's no money in it.
Mhm.
So when you look at these areas, Detroit's a great example. I drove through Gary, Indiana a few years back,
Let's say I just went last weekend.
Whoa.
and literally,
Let's say
I don't know if you've been to Gary, Marcus, but it literally looks like somebody
Yeah.
set off multiple bombs. It looks like a third world country. Many buildings with windows blown out and just in disrepair. And you sit there and you don't understand how we could allow that to happen in this country when it doesn't have to. But again, as Nick said, it takes a whole lot of people with the same agenda to really change anything. Him and I argue all the time about companies like Walmart and Amazon because I very much hate Walmart and Amazon. I still buy from Amazon because
Yeah.
it's convenient. If I really put my money where my mouth was, I would never buy from Amazon. I'd just pay a higher price and wait a few more days.
Mhm.
But I mean, as we all can admit, sometimes money has to win out. I mean, I still have to be able to put food on the table. So sometimes I hold my nose and buy shit on Amazon. And I think I would hope we get to a point someday where, we can look at, gentrification or maybe just taking care of people. They can seem to do this in other countries. I don't understand what the fucking problem is here. And I've been on that soapbox for a long time now. And I feel like I'm never going to get off it because we can make it better, but it takes a whole lot more people trying to make it better. And we don't have the right people in place to do that.
That's it. I mean, it's just who does it benefit and why does it benefit and do they actually want to do it, right? So
I can say this. So back when I got out of school and I was, looking into living on my own, I kept sitting there going, why do I give a shit if schools get anything? I'm not in school anymore. It doesn't matter to me. And then, of course, the older I got, I had my daughter and schools mattered to me. And now that my daughter's well out of high school, 10 years next year, schools still matter to me because I've reached that level of empathy in I want younger people to have a better life than what I have.
Yep.
And the only way to do that is to educate them. And I think our education system here sucks. We teach a lot of memorization and studying for standardized tests. And I want them critically thinking. That's what I want. I want them to not necessarily take everyone's word for it. Give me a problem, let me break it down, and then we'll have an educated conversation on it.
Well, I say I look at gentrification and it depends on the areas, right? I mean, if you're bringing in massive amounts of money, right? I look at Muskegon,
Mhm.
right? Muskegon was predominantly a very poor area. It's the most surprising thing, right? I have friends that have been trying to get me to invest in Muskegon for about 10 years now.
Mhm.
Okay. And I won't do it, and I haven't done it, and I still won't do it. But right, it goes back to like, and I could see it. I clearly can. I mean, this is waterfront
Mhm.
city, right? Muskegon is on the lake. It is a neighborhood, and you start watching things start to grow and businesses staying and things. And so, of course, right? Like those are the signs that you look for. That's where you start investing. It didn't. Why? Because my brain can't ever tell myself that, hey, yeah, things actually did change. Why? Because I always think things are what they look like, right? Or what I've known.
You have these biases that it's hard to change.
Very much, right?
But
and
growth is admitting that. You realize that, right?
I get it, but it doesn't change my pocketbook.
It doesn't.
Say-
You're not wrong.
Yes.
But again, growth is admitting that I have these biases and they may not be accurate anymore.
Yep.
But it's just I can't get over that thinking.
Yep. And that's, so it's one thing that's kept me from doing some crazy things. But I have a buddy that he built 16 new houses in Muskegon, right? And like he's putting his money where his mouth is and thinks that it's the new up and coming, and it really is. It really, if you ask me, that's the place to be, right? So everything, all of it adds up, right? It's just a matter of getting the crime out of there. And so, I still would never invest in the Heights. All the outside stuff, that's what I would do.
And again, the crime is symptomatic of the environment that people live in.
Yeah.
If you're poor, there's more likely to be crime.
Yep. Sadly, I mean, there is. Yep.
People don't see an option out, and telling them they're going to go to jail isn't a deterrent for them.
Gosh, no. I mean, they're guaranteed. It's the whole joke. They're guaranteed 3 hots and a cot, right?
Yeah.
Can't guarantee I have a house. I might as well be guaranteed I got food and a house, right?
Well, and again, I think jail wouldn't be as awful as it is if we didn't turn that as a for-profit system.
Yeah.
But we want to turn everything for profit. That's what they're trying to do to schools now.
Yeah. So
I feel like the unfortunate reality of those case scenarios is that it all works within the institution of capitalism. I mean, David, you even noted it. You didn't care about the school systems until you had a kid and got into school. You would want, the economy or maybe even the government or America itself to have a different viewpoint where how we treat our poor and people who have shelterless places. But the reality of the scenario is capitalism messes you up pretty good, because if you're impoverished or you're in poverty, it puts you in a mindset automatically. Or if you even have some capital afforded to you, it also puts you in a certain mindset automatically, where it's like you don't want to lose it, but you also want to help if you can. But if you help too much, then you lose it, so you can't put food on your own table. So we're in this paradigm of, could it shift to something different, or are we going to be able to only stay within this range of there has to be a poor, there has to be some middle somewhere of some way, shape, or form, and then there has to be a high, if so to speak, of status or economic wealth or whatnot. So it's very interesting where we're at with this, but here we all three sit, and we can try to make the best of our scenario and be the best people that we can be for ourselves. But the reality is, capitalism is driving a lot of things that we choose to do.
Well, and not to get on my soapbox, but I love my soapbox. We have a young employee here, and I asked her the other day, I said, so you registered to vote? And she goes, I'm not voting. I said, why not? She goes, I don't like Biden. I said, all right, well, he's not running anymore. She goes, oh, I hadn't heard. I'm like, but even if you don't like Biden, do you like any of the policies that were put forth in the last 4 years? And I named off some, and she's like, well, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm like, remember, you're not voting just for one person. You're voting for an entire administration, people that are being put in charge. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think the president is the most important thing you will vote for. The most important thing you will vote for is things like judges and school board members and proposals that are on the ballot and your state senators and your state representatives. And those are the important spots, because if you can start to get those people, that's where the real change happens. The people that literally control your day-to-day life. A president should not be on my mind more than a few minutes a week, maybe a few hours a month. I shouldn't care. They're not affecting me. But I should care about what my local board is doing.
What we talked about it, right? What your bond proposals are sitting here, and your board is trying to get you to put in there. Hey, do you want to raise taxes so that way XYZ school has a new softball field that we don't get to play on, and they don't even have a team anymore? Oh crap, we wasted our money on that, didn't we? Right? Like,
well, the bond they had before that was to redo the tennis courts, which they never used, never redid, tore down, and put the softball field on.
Nope.
You couldn't just use that money.
So, but
because that money was already earmarked.
And well, no, because we didn't get approval. But so that's it. Like the more local it is, the more it affects you as a person.
And I don't think until we start actually dealing with those things on a local level and really get the buy-in of people. I mean, it's like 42% of people in the United States vote.
Yeah, it's stupid small.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I did not vote in the 2000 election. I was disenfranchised. I didn't really care about Gore. I didn't really think much about Bush. And I'm like, my vote doesn't fucking matter. I'm not voting. And I had to drive down to Kalamazoo to vote because that's where my address is.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm just not doing it. It's the only time I haven't voted. I don't regret not voting that time because it made me realize that it really is important.
Oh, I say, you know, I voted today and I kept bugging my wife. Did you vote? Did you vote? Did you vote? Like I got up this morning, put my pants on. I was like, I gotta go vote, right?
Yeah.
Here it is, like 7:30 in the morning, and you know, but you know, and then she's like, oh, and my wife always wants to know, and I was like, of course I voted Republican today, right? Because that, like, you only get to vote for one side, and I was like, I just don't want to see these specific people be on, right?
Yeah,
So-
you vote against the people that you absolutely hate.
exactly it, right? So, because I'm gonna be the change.
So 2
So-
years ago,
Yeah.
when my wife and daughter got the ballots, they're like, all right, there's really nobody to vote for on the Democratic side. I said, vote Republican. And they're like, why? I said, because you want, who's that crazy fucking guy that's now running Ottawa County? Gibbs.
Oh yeah, John Gibbs.
So he was running for US representative here against Peter Meyer.
Yeah.
I said, Meyer will beat the Democrat. Gibbs will not because he's a loon and he's backed by Trump.
Yep.
I told them, I said, vote for Gibbs. And they're like, if this backfires, I'm going to fucking hate you. And Gibbs got the nomination over Meyer. And Skolton won the election because nobody wanted to hire that loon.
Well, and that's same thing is happening right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, so you know, I find it to be one of my I've never missed an election. So
That's our note to anybody watching
Yeah.
live. If you're in Kent County,
go vote.
if you're in Michigan, honestly, it's primary day. Get your ass out there and vote. And if you're in Kent County,
For
vote
sure.
for Peter.
Right.
We had a great episode with him last week.
So gentrification. What else you got for us, Marcus?
Well, we can go on the investing side since I'm also investing in the city of Detroit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yep. So I got a condo very close to downtown, and I'm trying to look for my first rehab. And it's very interesting because I don't know how to best put it. I don't have a lot of contractors. So
Okay.
when I think about doing an investment, I got to know about how much time it's going to take me to get it turned around and get someone in there, and also how much money it's going to take.
Okay.
Both of those I can't put into a factor for a rehab because I literally don't have someone who can redo an entire home that I trust.
Then don't do
So,
it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a dick, then just don't do it, right? Until you can find somebody that you can trust, that you can, you know, and we didn't even ask, do you do anything for work?
Yep. I'm a therapist.
Are you okay? So right, you're not gonna have the amount of time to be able to babysit these people and do things, but like, you know, until you can find a GC. So my suggestion is if you want to and you really want to get there, you know, start interviewing GCs, right? And don't take, you know, and most of them won't even give you the time of day, right? And don't take it as disrespect, but you're gonna find the person that wants to do it. Don't find the person that needs the job and they can work tomorrow, right? Find the person that's like, hey, we can do it, and
Meshes with your values.
yeah, you know, hey, we can do it in 3, you know, we're clear in 2 weeks, you know, we're clear in 2 months, but I have to finish this job up. But
Because you're a professional at this. How do you start that process?
that's what I say, literally just interviewing
Yeah,
people and
How do you
talking.
find these people?
Facebook. I don't know if you have any social media. You can, you know, honestly, one of the biggest tips and clues I'm ever going to give you is go to your local Menards. Okay. Menards has a contractor's location, a contractor's desk. Okay. And you're going to ask them and say, hey, who do you have that's a general contractor? Because they're going to know the people that come in there every effing day. And Menards, the cool thing about them is they let contractors put in like dating apps. So it's like they have flyers, right? Like, about themselves. Like, hey, you know, Tony, whoever, I do countertops and, you know, trim work. Hey, my name's, you know, Nick. I do doors and windows. Hey, my name's David. I'm a GC all around, you know, we do roofing, siding, we do interior, you know, all this. And you're gonna go, okay, great. and it has this contact information. You're gonna call David. David's gonna be so damn busy, he's not gonna answer the phone. But you're gonna go, hey, I'm Marcus. I'm looking to, you know, do a flip of a house type of a thing. Wondering if you have any experience in this. And they're gonna go, yeah, I do it all the time. You know, and you're gonna be able to feel people out. Especially being a therapist, you should be able to read people like crazy. So, you know, but yeah, so that's the greatest tip I can give people that most people will never use is go to Menards and say, hey, who do you have that you trust? Because those guys, it's funny because they know who to trust. You know, they're not, you can just look at those, but and then you know, rumor gets around and things like that. So that's a great tip for you.
That is a good tip because I've gotten go to Home Depot and stand around and ask people who are coming out. I'm like,
Fuck
what?
that. Okay, so like, you know, it's funny. Everybody says that the best contractor is the guy that's there at 6 a.m. and you know, he's there before everything. Well, yeah, okay, sure. I'm not a great contractor. If I do a project, I'm at Lowe's 5 fucking times doing that same fucking project. Okay, yeah, you don't want to hire me for that. But like, it's usually because it's a project that I don't like. I didn't plan to do it. It's just like, damn it, I need this. Oh, I forgot this. I forgot that. Like, and I dig into it and I need more. But yeah, so you know, oh, they when they open at 6, they're gonna be there. No, they're the guys that are drinking coffee. You want the guy that's there at like, I don't know,
9:30,
yeah, 8,
7:30, 8:30.
8, right? So they're not sleeping in there whole day. 8 o'clock, and they're at the pro desk, and they already have because you know what they did last night. They were up until midnight working on their freaking thing that they have to go to the pro desk for, and they're gonna hand their slip over and go, "Hey, I just need all these items ordered. I'll be here tomorrow to pick it up." Or they're there picking up a big ass order. If you see, I mean, you'll see guys. Or I mean, right? People, or if you're smart, you get your stuff shipped to the thing. Contractors don't always go to the store like I do constantly, but they're gonna get it shipped to the.
You're
to the
not a
job.
contractor.
No,
You do the work that you don't want to pay other people to do.
sometimes, but yeah, it's like right. So like you're gonna find, but yeah, no, Lowe's and Home Depot, they don't have. They, you know, especially okay, it's funny because without I don't know how to say it the non-racist way, right? But like in the Midwest here, Michigan and stuff like that, we don't just have Hispanics standing around. Like Florida and Arizona and all that, like that's an actual thing. Like they have people that stand outside looking for work every day, and so people are like, oh, just go pick them up. And like honestly, they can do the work. Like sometimes you have to film stuff, but it's like, I wish I had that ability, right? We don't have that here in Michigan, right? We don't just have, you know, we have panhandlers standing on the side and you offer them work and they won't take it. But yeah, so Menards is your big thing. You know, and then don't go, you know, don't go to Angie's List. Like don't pay for a subscription. But the other thing, go to an Inform page, right? You're in Detroit, gosh, there's a huge real estate investors group there. So you can just look up real estate investors Detroit or you know your area and find that. So find other investors that are doing
I'm
stuff.
going to ask more leading questions.
Yeah.
So you just got a phone call a little bit ago from a nice young woman I met a couple weeks ago at your birthday.
Yeah. Just assume her gender.
I mean,
Say.
I had a nice talk with her. She
Yeah.
made it perfectly clear she was a she. Anyways, didn't you help her when she was starting out?
Oh God, yeah.
And how did that come about?
I don't know. I have to figure it out. Oh, so I don't know. She was like a little yippy dog. Say I like Brooke, but you know, she came to a meetup,
What kind of meetup?
a real estate investors meetup.
Okay.
Right. So we threw it on. You know, she just started to, you know, hey, pick some knowledge. Hey, how do I do this? And then she's like, hey, is there anything I can do? And so we had a calling list and she literally called everybody on the list to try to buy houses. And then it just kind of went from there and there. And
Did people tell her to piss off?
yeah, so I made jokes to her at my party because I mean, like as a woman, she gets said some really funny things. Like it's funny to me. It pisses her
not
off,
funny to
right? But,
her.
like, you know, somebody will ask her if, you know, mommy and daddy's money paid for it and stuff like that. And like Brooke doesn't come from anything. Like she's, you know, she's like me, right? Like we're self-made, did our things ourselves. And yeah, okay, your knowledge has helped me, but yeah.
She was tenacious.
Very much.
I mean,
right?
she just literally went after it.
Yeah.
So a good thing is find these meetups and maybe go start picking brains.
Yeah,
And realize people are going to shut you down.
well, people are going to shut you down. There's going to be people who are there or who are there that will never do anything.
Mhm.
And I mean that. And there's people who are there who think they've done stuff, but and you're going to find that there's people that talk, there's people that do, and then there's people that will never do, right? So yeah, don't jump in and love the first person you meet, but try to just find out who people really are. And it takes hour or two a month out of your life, one day a week or one day a month to meet up with these people and just shoot
Well,
the
and you
shit.
can find resources through them as well.
Oh yeah, let's say, and there's a page. There's plenty of pages out there on Facebook where you can just ask a question and people will give you leads, right? And once you get to be, even if you've never done anything, once you're around and you've showed up, people will just give you things, and you don't even. People give you things without even hesitating, right? Because they trust you and they know that you're going to take care of their person,
Well,
right?
who's my first phone call to when I have an issue?
Right. It's usually always me.
Yeah.
Right. And
And
that's-
sometimes they're home runs and sometimes they're not. You gave me the foundation guy
yeah.
who Dawn pissed you off because she's like, I don't like him. He sucks.
Yeah.
But the reason Dawn didn't like him is because unlike Dudley and Keith,
Yeah.
he didn't come out and really explain anything. He just came out and said, oh, this is what I see. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And my wife likes
Just
explanations.
saying, Keith will give you an
He
explanation.
can sit there and tell you everything you need to know about a pipe. When the pipe was made, where the metal came from for the pipe, whether you should use metal or plastic. And my wife loves that. She feeds off of that.
Yeah.
So she will literally use Keith until Keith doesn't want to work anymore.
Yeah. No, don't use him anymore because he's mine. No, it's so right. Like, I mean, that's just it. Find people that have done it and then go ask them. Right. It just kind of boils down to type of thing. And if you have repairs on your house, so if you want to talk about numbers and things like, figure out how much things cost, so start getting a quote on roofs. Sure, it's going to waste some people's times, but you'll start to see, like, I don't know who you have over there, but like you have Mr. Roof over there for numbers, or Irish Roofing is a huge company. If you get a quote on your house for a roof, they're going to be $15,000, let's say, where if you call Signature Home Renovations, congrats, Paul. I just gave you a shout out on Bucks and Brews because he's been on our podcast, so I'll give him a shout out. But anyway, right, Paul's going to be $8-9 grand, right? I mean, you saved $7 grand by knowing somebody else and not a huge big name person. So, start building your list. That's my suggestions.
Well, and at 30, I mean, you're still young enough to not have a list. But I mean, Nick had one by 30, but he's abnormal.
Yeah.
But start building that list, because eventually by the time you hit 35, 36, you're going to be the person people are coming to going, hey, you got an electrician?
Yeah.
Hey, you got somebody that can do tires?
Yeah. Right. And that's it, man.
We know a little bit of somebody that can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. My buddy Denny, I mean, that guy, he's 50 something. And if I post something on Facebook, I always get a call from him, and I always feel bad, but it's like, he's like, why don't you call me first? I got a guy. And I'm like, damn it, Daddy, I do know you have a guy. But I say, I always like, I just always forget, right? Or Denny will have a guy in fucking Arkansas. Right? Like, hey, my buddy, he's in Arkansas, but it's worth the trip. And I'm like, no, no, it's not. It's like, but yeah, like, right. So figure out, man. So you're going to go to this meetup. You're going to do it. Post it on Facebook. Do you have social media, Marcus?
Yes, I do.
Right. Figure out people in the area and just say, hey, who do you use for plumbing? And you don't even need to fucking have a plumb. You don't have to have an issue right now, but see who's tagged the most.
Yep.
One thing I absolutely hate is when people tag people 1,000 times, but it's also a great thing because that 20 people vouch for that
Yeah.
person.
A
Right.
whole lot of people like this guy.
Yep.
Or that girl.
Yep. And then, and the funny thing is drama will follow anybody. And so if you post something like, I don't mean to call people out, but like service professor, right?
Horrible.
Yeah. And say people are going to be like, no, don't fucking use them. They're going to try to rob you and blah, blah, blah. There's probably some truth behind that. Right? But like, Sure, if you're in a 24-hour and need a absolute emergency surgery service, yeah, they're the guy to call. It's going to suck. It's going to cost you money. You know that they're going to, put you over a barrel, but they're going to get the job done, right? So Marcus, I'll give you another quick lesson of life. There's the rule of two-thirds. I don't know if you've ever heard it, right? So you get time, money, and quality, right? And you're only allowed to pick 2 out of 3, right? So if you pick, it's going to get done quick and it's going to get done cheap, that quality is going to be trash. If you pick, it's going to be expensive. That means, your quality is going to be, and you pick expensive quality. Okay. That means it's going to take a really long time, right? But you can only pick 2 out of 3. It's the generic life thing. So you figure out how well you want to do. Most of your renovation companies that are out there, what's the big window company? Like Pella or,
Fancy?
they're not
Renewal by Anderson.
yeah, Anderson, Renewal by Anderson, right? Like they're going to be $15,000 to replace your windows in your house. Yes, they're going to be very, very quick, right? I'm going to do it in a fucking day. They're going to be really quick. They're going to be really expensive. Oh no, sorry. But their quality, whatever. But it's not going to be top tier, but they're going to be double the price of the other person. Where if you just get, if you go on Facebook and say, hey, I need a new window or new windows, who would you suggest? Yeah, you'll get a guy that take a day and a half. It's how quickly do you need it done, right? So again, that's just advice for you. Two-thirds is what you get, right? And it's funny because when you start getting into this, between contractors, we don't ever say it in a negative. It doesn't mean to come off as a negative way, right? If you ask me, about somebody, right, I'm be like, yeah, hey, honestly, he can paint. I probably have a couple little spots you have to touch up, right? It's just stuff we all know about each other, right? Like people will say stuff about me. Oh, Nick, yeah, no, he just gets a horrible attitude. Like, yeah, fuck, it happens all the time, right? But
well, again, my daughter had a leak. What was the first fucking phone call I made?
I say,
I called you. It was what, like 9:30 at night?
yeah,
You said I'm 10 minutes away.
yeah. Saying glad we found it, right? I mean, it's just, you'll find if you want to do it and you really want to get into flipping, just start now. Because I mean, you could never have too much knowledge for this, right? So,
well, again, time value of money too. The less time you give yourself. So let's say you decide, all right, I'll start at 35.
Yep.
You've just lost 5 years of time, money, potential.
yeah.
Are we
Very
giving
true.
you too much information, Marcus, or are we just talking too
No,
much?
not at all. This is all pretty much right up my alley as I'm literally in the process of doing it all.
Fantastic.
Primary home investment. I mean, that was a great suggestion right there, even the 2/3. I'm like, when I had my first investment property, I did not consider that. I was like, man, I just need it to be done by this time, and I only got this much money, and
Yep.
I want your quality to be great. They'll be like, okay, charge me a lot of money, of course,
Yep.
charge me a lot. So
I say,
yeah.
and their quality, most people's quality will never change. Let's put it that way. Right? You can offer them so much more money to have greater quality, just won't ever happen, right? Like if I paid you $1,000 and you're gonna get it done in a week, and it should take a normal person 6 months, or 2 weeks, that quality, no matter how much I pay you, if I pay you an extra grand, 5,000, 10,000, that quality's just not gonna be there, right? So, I always, I get my quotes and stuff like that, and I always just add an extra week into my labor aspect of thing, or 2 weeks, whatever it is. So, I've only been flipping I flipped a few here and there back in the day. Now I've been flipping really full time for about 3 years. So, and I treat my employees however the hell they want to be treated, kind of a thing, right? You want time off, great, you have time off. You want to work, great, you have work, right? But I'm very clear and upfront with them. We're doing this job, you don't get any time. You get time off, or you get the time off you want, but this is the date we're done, this is the date we're done, right? So It's just kind of different how that works. So, and you'll learn through time.
How do you even structure a business that way? That's also something I've been interested in as I'm buying investment properties under like an LLC. But is there a way to where I can make it bulletproof almost?
I think the best thing is to get a lined piece of paper.
Fuck you.
Right. The worst fucking lease agreement ever.
Uh,
Am I wrong?
I honestly, it worked out really well for
It-
me.
Tell Marcus about your first.
Oh, Marcus, when I started this business, man, I bought my own it was my personal residence, and I rented it out, and my lease was on a lined piece of paper, and it looked like a bill of sale for a car, and it said, "I, Nick, rent this place for this amount of money." And that was it. It didn't say anything more. And I made both of us put a signature on it, and it was like, "There you go, cool." Yep. Didn't even say, I don't even remember if it said due on the first or like, right. It said nothing else, nothing. It just said, "You're paying me this amount of
You
money
went in
per
as
month."
blind as possible.
Oh God, yes. So, all right.
And then you learned. What did you learn?
That you need all the documents, you need everything. So, but his question was,
Yeah, that's what I mean. What did you learn?
the LLC, how
Did
to
you
make
have one?
how to make it bulletproof. The answer is you can't. All right. The answer is I just want to be quick and simple and just tell you can't. But all right, can you? Yes. Is it worth it? That's your comfortability. I don't know what you would look up. But yeah, basically YouTube Bulletproof LLC. So from my understanding, basically you create your LLC in here, create another LLC in Wyoming or fucking Montana. I don't know the state. I can't remember, right? That's what these guys are doing. And it locks it down. And everybody's gonna it's funny because I feel like it's just something like a sales pitch type of a thing. And then and then your LLC gets represented here from that state, and everybody's like, "Oh, if they see that, the lawyers won't go after it." And it's like bullshit. If the fucking thing is that big, they're going after you. So my advice is, all right, if you have an LLC, it protects everything. It protects you from your personal assets being the first thing for people to go after.
Mhm.
The first thing. I don't want to say that it's never, but so your business, right? So now if you have a house, somebody breaks their ankle on the they take a step, they break their ankle, it's because it's your fault, right? Deemed your fault. So my number one suggestion is always have an umbrella policy when you have rentals, right? So you're going to be covered for about $250,000. Don't quote me, for basic. Get an umbrella policy for about another $1 million, because you never know if this person was a soon to be Olympic figure skater and they just fucked themselves on your porch. Anyway, so $1 million, they're going to pay out that. Anything else after that, they have the ability to come sue you for those types of things and actions. If it's an LLC, the normal legal written rule basically states that they can only take what the asset of the LLC is, right? So, hey, you owe me $1 million, or another $1 million. The house is only worth 40 grand. Great, now they get the 40 grand of what it's worth. If they come after you on a personal level because they found, and that's the whole thing. Like, so let's say you went there and booby trapped it. Let's say you have an LLC, right? If you're me as a landlord and I have my LLC, but I go over there in the middle of winter and I throw fucking hot water down and it ices over and then somebody trips and falls, I still personally am liable for that as a person. Even if it happened on my LLC will get sued for what happened. I will still get sued for
Mhm.
the negligence of that type of a thing. And that's so people try to hide behind this LLC and think that it's, I got to make it unbreakable. If you're scared to do it, that means you're scared that you're going to be shady or something. I don't mean that in a negative way, but like run your business like a business and treat yourself as if you were an upstanding citizen on a constant basis, and you don't have as much to worry about, right? Do your best forth effort and you won't have a problem, right?
Are we good at running our businesses like businesses all the time?
I suck at it. Like absolutely. I mean, Marcus, if you talk about buying a house being stressful, I've bought far too many, and I'm selling one finally. Right? I do sell flips, but like
You don't sell.
I've never sold a
multi-units.
rental. I've never sold a rental. And this is a 3.5 month process, and I just want to cry. So, I don't run my, because why? There's part of it because they suck, and part of it is because I don't have my documents perfect, right?
Oh
I'm
God,
missing a
yeah.
page. I have a lease that's 5 pages on the bottom or whatever, and because it was numbered 1 through 5, or let's say 1 through 6, and the back page was blank, I probably threw that page away. But because I have to give it, and it says, so now I have to go find 6 of 6, but it probably has nothing on it,
Right.
but I have to submit that. So, it's my own fault for those types of things. So, yeah, I just, can you, yeah, if you're really interested in that, sorry, it's not a podcast we've done. I know some people that do it, because they're really, and it's weird because I always find them to be just not so people. No disrespect, but, yeah, look it up. It's just, I look up Ironclad LLC or something like that, and you will find what you need. It's just above the interest, the interest that I have and where I hold myself as a person, right? Like, I came into this world with $0 to my name, and if somebody's going to sue me and it's going to become that bad, the judge is going to look and go, hey, there's no negligence on my end, right? I don't go out of my way to be a shitty human being, right? Detroit, you're going to have rental inspections, things like that, right? Always keep your certifications, always pass things, right? Do the right, one of the best advice I've ever was given in this business, right? Besides run your business like a business, is, always do the right thing. It's never the easy thing, right? It's not always the easy thing, right?
Usually it's the hardest thing.
Almost always, right? But sometimes but it's always do the right thing, right? And as much as you don't want to go do some shit, you just go do it because it's the right thing to do, right? And it costs you money, it does whatever, but do the right thing.
Well, I mean, we run into that situation here all the time. You have to handle everyone differently. So we had a session the other day. Girl came in 17, mom brought her because, she was going through some stuff and
Mhm.
she didn't want to go in the room alone. It was an individual session. And her mom's like, no, you need to do this on your own. Kind of forced her into the room. And mom stopped me, kind of told me what was going on and felt bad for her, went and grabbed one of our stickers, the one with Leia downstairs that says, just because I have a vagina doesn't make me believe that you have bigger balls than me.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, she's going through some shit. I'll give her this. The sticker cost me, let's say 30 cents.
Sure.
What do I give a shit that I'm giving away a sticker? I bought enough of them that it's cost effective.
Let's see. Yeah.
Mom's thrilled. I can tell she's going through some shit. So I go in and find a TV that had already been beaten the shit out of. It might actually be, no, I don't think Marcus had a TV. That was a week before anyway.
TV. Way to go.
But I went and found one that was beating the shit out. She's getting ready to walk out of the room. I said, go back in the room. She walks back in the room and she's just standing there. I go around the back. I grab a TV. I open the door. I throw it on the table. I said, you can beat on this some more. And I walk out the door.
Yeah.
I never gave her a 5-minute warning. I wasn't stopping her at 25. I had the ability to let her go long.
Yep.
She's working through shit. I don't want to say, hey, time's up. I have the ability to let it go a little longer. I'm being a human.
Yeah.
Is that good business sense? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Right.
It probably is. They're going to be longtime customers, I'm sure.
So, oh man. All right. Sorry. Side tangent.
Yes. Already forgot it.
I don't even know his name. It might be Nick.
That works here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick works here.
He has a moped.
Yeah, my
so
neighbor.
That's who it was.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'm on one of my properties on 68th Street, and all of a sudden this moped rolls up, and he's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," he's like, "You don't know me?" And I was like, he's like, "Oh, from Break Room," and I was like, "Oh, cool, man, yeah, awesome." Like, but he kind of reminds me of the kid that used to come in all the time, the one that had the punches too. Like, he was your first one to get all
Nope,
all
that
time
was
punches.
Nelson.
Nelson there, but
Yeah.
no, this was your neighbor.
Yeah, he lived next door to us when we moved in.
He goes fishing all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So it was him. And he like stopped me. Like, I'm sitting here working in the middle of like just sweating my balls off. And I was like, you stopped to say hey. Like, I don't mean to be like, I stopped myself, said hey, but I'm just like,
I'm kind of doing something.
that's what the fuck you wanted, right? Just to think, like, work Nick is a completely different fucking Nick than what people think, right? Like, if I'm actually physically doing something to piss me off, like, no disrespect. I don't want to I don't answer
You don't
calls
wanna
to
talk,
you. I
yeah.
don't fucking do anything. Like David gets, he's like, oh man, next definitely work. Like I'll hit you up at like 9, 10 o'clock at night and be like, what do you want? Like I'm finally done, but I just want to get the job done.
Well, that's because most of us are used to you being retired.
Say, which that's what I said. I haven't fucking physically worked in forever.
I know.
So no, I've been loving it. It's I needed to do it. I need to do some physical labor. So but all right. So investing, you're trying to do some flipping. You want to own holds or you want to just flip or what do you want to do?
I definitely want to own holds just from how I structure my stock portfolio. I try to hold long term as much as possible for good ones, at least.
Yeah.
So I'm really into finding a good spot, like you mentioned earlier. You wouldn't go to Muskegon, but it may be a pretty decent area. But I understand why. Finding a pretty decent area, hold for the long term.
Yeah. No, and I mean, that was how I started. And it's funny because it took me years to grow and get wise. I own everything outside of Grand Rapids, right? So where you came to visit here at Break Room is Byron Center. And so like I own outside and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do anything in Grand Rapids, anything in Grand Rapids. And then all of a sudden, like it hit me one day. I was like, shit, I could flip in Grand Rapids. Why am I not keeping these houses? Like people are bringing me deals and I keep turning them down, but like, and so then I was like, all right, I know for a fact that everything here is going to be a flip. I'm never going to hold. I now own one in Grand Rapids because I'm stupid, but so that being said, but like, so, hey, would I flip in Muskegon Heights? I right, I should, but I don't. But like that type of thing is just, hey, there's some sketch areas, but as long as I know I'm getting out of it in a very quick turnaround, there's no reason I shouldn't figure out how to make that deal work, right? And then, next thing I know, just more and more deals start happening. So I was pretty happy about that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, next
And
question. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, next question. You guys have a trust or a will? And if you do have either, which one do you feel like is most beneficial?
Trust versus will. Um, so a trust for me because my LLC and my assets can get into the trust and I get to control more of what it does. I hope that makes sense. So I get to pick what can get sold, when it can get sold, how it can get sold, what it's doing. I get to write all of that. So there's a really stupid example. My wife and I currently, right, if we pass away, we're getting made into cherry trees. The cherry trees are going to be planted on my first ever property that I bought and own. I'm still fighting the city to let them guarantee that I can always control the two little plots of land that I want the trees to be on. So that way my family could forever. The trust has to pay for that, but the city won't allow it currently. So I have a trust just because of the things I can do within the trust and the rules that I can make.
That
David,
does make sense.
will or trust? Do you have either?
I have a will.
You do. Okay. So, and why?
Because at the time I had it written, that's what I could afford.
Say, there you go.
Everything I have is beneficiaried.
Yep.
I mean, we went through this when I tried to die.
Yeah.
I basically said, you need to take over the finances for that family because they won't know what the hell to do without me.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they're going to have a shit ton of money. Now I probably should sit down and write a trust because that way I don't have to throw that on you when I die untimely.
Yeah.
But
well, I say it plays itself out, right? I mean, I trust it's what it does. I'm fortunate, it's a great question that you asked because I don't, you said you're a therapist, right? And so you're just starting doing this. And so I know it sounds shitty to say, but like what you're making right now is the least amount of money you're probably going to make as a therapist versus what you're going to be making, with more and more experience, more and more clients, things like that.
True.
And you're going to start finding that you're going to meet up with, people worth 50, 80, $100 million if you don't already know those people. But like, Ask them that question, right? All of them have all of them have trust. All of them, and it's funny because poor people don't have, if you ask this question, I mean, that's what probate's for.
Yeah.
But like, rich people, wealthy people, I mean, they all have their shit together. They have things going for them. It's because it's a smart thing to do.
Mhm.
So,
That is very great advice on that one because I've been looking into both. I've written my own will.
yep.
I've written that up, and I've been looking to do a trust for a while, and and it still comes down to who I want to write it up for me and put it together, which lawyer or company or whatever. But I've definitely been looking into that, especially as I'm getting into like the real estate space and really investing more, because I do not want to lose control of the things that I'm looking to own.
Yep. And that's it. I mean, do you have kids currently?
No, I do not.
Okay. And sorry, is it a wife, girlfriend,
My fiance.
fiance? Okay, so you're not even married yet. So, you know, how I say, hey, it's your fiance, so she's entitled to whatever. But, for some reason, you get off of Bucks and Brews, and a bad accident kind of happens. Well, you said you have a condo. Well, the house isn't paid for, but let's say you have this house, right? I mean, she's not entitled unless she's on it, but like she's not entitled to any part of it, right? Because she's a fiance, she's not married in yet. So you're next of kin, which you don't have kids, so I don't know if your parents are still around, but really, that's basically the next person that would get it would be your parents if they're still around. If they're not, then it becomes a brother, and the problem is if they're not, and the worst part is, I don't know if you're like, if it's my parents, they don't get along, right? They're gonna try to steal every dime of mine that they possibly can. And if I was in your shoes, and then if it went to, so next it goes to brothers and sisters, and so then, right, all of them are gonna fight for everything, and by the end of it, you wasted your house equity, you wasted your condo equity, you wasted all your cash, you wasted all your investments, and it's just gone because everybody's gonna fight over it, and nobody gets a dime. So
Did I have this conversation with you?
no,
So
never.
I'm talking to Dawn one day, and most people know, Marcus doesn't because we don't know each other that well yet. My daughter is my stepdaughter, technically.
No.
Fuck off. I have no biological children. My wife didn't have any after
Yeah.
Caitlin, so that's my offspring now.
Yep.
And I said a few months back, I'm like, Caitlin really needs to figure out what she wants to do with her estate when she passes.
Mhm.
And Dawn goes, well, it's not important. No, it is, because she's 29. She's not married. She's not really actively dating anyone. And being a lesbian, she doesn't know if she'll ever have kids.
Right.
She may decide against having kids. If she wants to have kids, I mean, at this point, she'd be doing it solo because she doesn't have a partner. If I die today and she dies, let's say my wife and I are in an accident and we die tonight.
Yep.
And she dies tomorrow.
Yep.
Her birth father gets all of the shit I have amassed in my life, and I will be goddamned if that motherfucker or anybody in his goddamn family gets a fucking thing that I've worked for.
That's why you need to trust, David.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's just it. But yeah, so it's a great thing to be able to control every aspect of the outcome. So but yeah, figuring out, hey, who gets what I worked for
Uh-huh.
and how they get it, right? At this moment, my wife gets everything, and my daughter gets a piece of the pie. So
I got 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
oh, there you go.
Because my mom gets a third.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I say she's single.
She is.
I know. It's like me and
She's
me and
the right
Jam,
age for you too.
me and Jamshed, we're gonna. Hey, buddy, Eskimo brothers. I would call him up as I'm hugging you. Go ahead. Sorry, Marcus. It's a
Inside joke.
Yeah, it's definitely an inside joke on that one. But yep. All right, we're back to you, bud.
No, no worries. Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense with the trust, though, because it is important, at least for me. Like you mentioned, I've come from a family that didn't have a lot. I literally was the first to go to college, first to own their home, so it's just a lot of first in my life experience. And so having a trust would be the most beneficial, not only just for myself, but for the people who I would tie into the trust, just in any case scenario if that ever happens to me.
Yeah.
So, but question: What during this process? I'm going back to the mortgage now. During this process, it typically you said you were selling one of your actual rentals for your first one, and it's something to cry about because it's so much paperwork, so many things to go through it. Um, when is the end of the road going to be, I guess, clarified? Because even in this process, I feel like I'm close, but I also don't know where I'm
Okay.
gonna land.
So where's the end of the road? How bad do you want it? What's it worth? And how many people do you have to be able to talk to? All right. So here's the thing. Um, you know, I signed this purchase agreement in May. Okay. They're supposed to buy it. I knew that he had to sell a property. Okay. So end of May, I'm gonna say even beginning of June, I had an inspection and an appraisal done. And get everything approved. It's fine. Great. So the only thing really left is him to sell this property. So right, he's supposed to close. We're supposed to close in July, right? So normal 45 days, kind of 60-day, whatever it might be. He calls me up and he says, "Hey, I got a hiccup. Would I have to resell my house because he's gonna do a 1031." And I said, "That's fine." Honestly, I understand hiccups happen. Shit, that's life. And I said, "Cool. All right, we're gonna close July 20th, which happened to be a Saturday. So I was like the 19th, because my birthday's the 20th, give myself a good birthday present. 20th comes, goes. Uh, Something happens. And so then all of a sudden, right, bunch of paper, like they're like, "Hey, we're not ready to close yours." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So they ask me for a bunch of paperwork. They do stuff. And I was like, no, no, no. Like I was approved and I'm supposed to get a new appraisal. So during this time between my birthday, July 20th, and today, my family has taken like 2, 3 vacations. I went to Milwaukee for 3 days. We went to Detroit for 2 concerts now. Just I've not really been home. So the Milwaukee one, I'm with my family, and August 1st comes around and it's D-Day, right? Like, and so I was like, all right, cool. We're leaving Milwaukee. I was like, we got to get home because I have to close this house here. I'm thinking, I'm gonna have enough money to go on a trip. I don't really care. Let's get home. Let's get this taken care of, right? So they've interrupted 2 vacations at this point with my family. I'm having to cut it short. I could have gone and enjoyed myself. So now we fast forward. Here's the 6th today.
Yep.
Still haven't closed. So they needed some stuff, more paperwork, more appraisal. And so like here, I'm pissed, right? Next week. So my daughter's birthday is this Sunday. The next week, which is like the 12th, 13th, blah, blah, blah. We're supposed to be going, my wife and I are going to go camping. My daughter's going to go to a kids camp. And my wife and I are going to go camping in the same area because it's an hour and a half away or whatever. So like, hey, let's just go camp, have fun. And I told them, I was like, look, if we don't close on Tuesday, the 12th, and I don't care if it's 5, 7 o'clock at night, because I just had the appraisal happen today. It's supposed to be a 24-hour turnaround. Basically, I'm going to tell everybody and I told them, I said, look, you've already ruined 2 of my vacations. I'm not going to do this to my family again. I'm not coming home early. I'm not going to do anything. So if it doesn't close on the 12th, and then if they say it's going to and it doesn't, like I'm going to be done. I'm going to my buyer is going to owe me he has $6,000 in earnest money. He's going to lose all that earnest money because I'm just done, because I've given him 2 extensions. So when is enough? When you finally just figure out, hey, you know what, you guys are all wasting my time. This isn't going to happen. I'm sorry, you suck at life. Because oh, we're so close. We're so close. No, closest for horseshoes and hand grenades, baby. You either got money in my pocket or I don't, right? And so
I use that term all the time.
that's it. So, when's enough? When you feel like you've put in the amount of effort that's worth your time and value, right? I know, trust me, like last week, I think I even told you, like, I didn't want to, I'm so fucking,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it kind of caused some depression with me. It does some things, you know, and I didn't pre-spend any money, but I'm not in a spot where I, you know, kind of want to be. I got a fucking I probably have $180,000 worth of tax bills sitting on my fucking counter. Sure, I have whatever, but like I can just take out of this money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to fucking go pay these if I can just pay it off of this, right?
Right.
And
You don't have to touch your accounts because this is the money.
that's it, right? You know, it's just like, oh, let's get this. So, you know, if I have to go write that fucking check, I'm just gonna get why do this if I could just have it done? So it's like, all right, so I'm just gonna give up and, you know, hey, best of luck to the guy and hope. So, you know, kind of that's just where I'm at. Like, how much effort do you want to put into it? That's when enough is enough, right? You know, they're gonna ask you for pay stubs. Yeah, is it a pain in the ass, right? Ask yourself how much of a pain in the ass it is, right? So also, you know, figure out if it's you that's not closing it or if it's them that's not closing it. Quick advice for you is, you know, you know, tell them, hey, you know what? Every day that I'm not getting this, you know, I want $20 or something. You know, if they ask for documents, if they ask for repeat documents that you've already sent, I figure out what your hourly cost is in life and say, hey, if you want me to fucking submit these documents, it's, you know, I have to stop what I'm doing in my job, in my life, and go print these out and do this. It's going to cost, you know, $100, right? And so I want that. And I want it in a personal written check of $100 fucking. It doesn't have to affect the buy sell aspect, but you know, hey, good. You know, and that's what this one, you know, I told him, I was like, hey, you owe me $1,000. That's really what happened. And you know, we have a couple things that are happening. And I was like, hey, if I go let this guy back into, he has to re-inspect. So I just took today, this afternoon, I had to open up all the doors. I had to do everything. I had to get a hold of the tenants, right? And that's what people think, oh, it just takes you like, no, I have to get a hold of my tenants, give them a 24-hour notice. I have to go meet over there, right? Drive over there, do all this, let the guy into every single fucking unit. Now I have to sit here and interact with these tenants and get people to move, do things, you know, so it's time and energy out of my day. Great. Hey, all right. And plus you want me to submit these documents. And I showed up here, granted I was 5 minutes ahead of my ETA, but like, I wasn't going to be here until 57, which we started 3 minutes after that. But
Yeah.
cause I was at the bank for the third time today, getting copies of checks to prove that I've gotten income off of stuff. You made me go to the bank. You made me do this. Like, here, you're going to pay me $1,000 for my time. I'm going to make sure I get all of it done. Here we go. Right. And so that's what I would do. Anyway. So when's enough? It's just when you know, if you drink one more extra beer and it doesn't seem to calm your nerves, that's when enough's enough. So
I mean, if we're bringing it down to beer,
yeah.
usually we don't know when enough is enough. People tell us later.
Yeah, I say I had the one. So but yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. I'm in an
Good.
interesting position in this particular. Actually, this property for my primary was interesting enough because it was pending back in June, and somehow I don't know what happened, but somehow someone lost their status or whatever with it, and it went back on the market. And so I put in an offer for it, and this is something I've never seen before. It said accepting backup offers after after someone else already put an offer that was before me, they accepted it, whatever. And that was the most interesting thing because somehow, I don't know what happened still, their deal fell through and it fell upon me. Now, I was able to understand probably what happened. Either it was money related, or it was the fact that the seller pretty much did not want to give any concessions, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, all right, you're buying the home as it is, pretty much. We don't want to, we're already selling it pretty low in this area. We don't want to give you any money. We don't also want to fix anything that you feel like needs to be fixed. So that was pretty much my discretion to understand if I was willing to do that. That's why I asked that question. When do you know if, like, when enough is enough on something? Because I've had 2 inspections done.
What?
One was, yep, I've had 2 inspections. So the reason why I had 2 inspections was because my initial inspector said, oh, this is a solid property, but there's some water coming into the basement. And yeah, there was some structural issues because of rain or whatever. and outside concrete leaning towards the house, so I have to figure out. But there was something else going on with the piping. He's like, you know what? I think you should get an inspection, another one done, and also order a camera snaking. It's like, okay. So I had to do that literally the next day, and that took a lot of time out of my day. But pretty much just having those two inspections was to give me more of like a leg up. All right, do you want this because this came back good now? So now that you are sure that these inspections are solid, now I can go ahead with the deal.
Yep.
And I'm assuming these other buyers prior to me who put in offers did not know the full extent as to what was going on with this basement. And basements, as we all know, have their issues and regardless, but
Yeah.
it was definitely something.
Well, and trust me, I mean, there is deals fall through far too often that people don't realize, right? And sometimes, you know, when we had that big thing where people were bidding $50,000, $60,000 over and doing all this, like it still fell to the backup offer. It just never made it back online because people are like, hey, you want to buy it? Yes or no? But you know, so that being said, I wouldn't be scared of, you know, hey, it falling through because it could be, you know, somebody lost their job. It could be millions of things, right? They couldn't get finance. They thought they could, you know, they run payment and it's too high. So I'm never really scared of, you know, the backup thing. You know, say, but you had your inspections. It went fine. Yeah. So what are they waiting on currently? Have they told you?
They were waiting for, so like I mentioned earlier in the show, I did have a credit report issue, so I had to get a rapid rescore. I had to figure that out, get a rapid rescore. It just came in today, actually, so they were waiting on that as we were going through the deal inspection, offer being accepted, and and what have you. Um, so now I'm back up in the high 700s, and we're now ordering the appraisal. Which I'm glad that you told me that about the appraisal basically falling on me because I kind of got annoyed the fact that I ordered two inspections and they're like, "Yeah, you have to pay for the appraisal." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
You know that my closing costs. I'll be very candid at this point. My closing cost is estimated in between 14 grand and 1650, $16,050.
So they're making you pay taxes. They're making you pay the insurance, which should be that. Um, Man, there's got to be some fees on there.
That's what I was saying initially. I don't know. That sounds very high for me. I don't
It
know
does. I
what
mean,
is going
for a
on.
$215,000 purchase price, that sounds ridiculous. 3.5%. Are you getting an FHA?
I'm getting conventional, 3%,
At 3 or 5?
3% down,
You cut out how much?
3% down.
3% conventional. 0.03 is 6,450. Plus we said taxes are going to be 3,600. Plus insurance we said was going to be 1,300 a year. 11,000. And you said how much was it? 16 or 14,000?
It was in between that range.
Yeah,
Actually,
so
the mortgage lender basically said just look for 16,000.
okay, plus 2,500 in title work, roughly. Are they charging you to help you fix your credit?
That's something I don't know because the mortgage lender also told me they aren't charging me for that. I'm going through
Yeah.
Rocket Mortgage. I'll be candid on that one too. I'm
Oh,
going through Rocket Mortgage. I don't
Jesus.
like them. I don't. But because of the entire scenario of my credit score
Yep.
going down and I was already in contract
Yep.
and I'm getting these pretty much wishful thinkings. Okay, we'll give you 599. Also, they'll do a rapid rescore for free. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Sounds good. But now
Yeah.
that I got this closing cost being this high, I'm really thinking, what fees are you guys tacking on?
I mean, say, you know, I'm at about 14, which sounds about right. So, you know, that's again very quick numbers off of them making you, them, they're going to pay, you're going to pay for prepay taxes, prepay insurance. You're going to you're going to do you have doc stamps. I guess that's probably a couple $100. You have your title fee, which is, let's say 1%. So 22 or 2150. Title search we already did. But you said you're paying for, your appraisal. If you're paying out of pocket, yep, that's on you. The inspection, you already paid out of pocket for, so you're good. Yeah, they're close. I think they're $1,000 high, but it could be you didn't buy any points down for 599.
No, I did not.
Huh.
Or like I said, at least not to my knowledge, because when I looked
Yeah.
at the disclosure, it didn't have any. I'll have to relook at that specifically to see what it's actually saying, but it didn't say anything about buying down points or anything.
Yeah. Which, I mean, 'cause I feel bad. I know rates just dropped. I didn't realize they had dropped to 599, which is great. I have a buddy, one of my best friends. You've met Travis 1,000 times. He's buying another house, and they're
In
saying
Allendale.
there's yeah,
with a
And-
basketball court.
yeah, but it's just like I was like, hey, why don't you get a new rate? Oh, we already locked in, and I was like, there's no such thing as fucking being locked in when you can go lower rate. But he won't listen to me. He's just gonna go pay this fucking huge number.
You know what the rate is?
Oh, it's like 8%.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh
No, I don't know,
my
7. I don't
gosh.
know. I'm assuming 7s, right?
I got a guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but he's like, no, we're already
All
locked
you
in. And I
all
was
you
like,
gotta do is make a phone call.
he's like one of my best friends, but still thinks I'm the stupidest fucking person. Like, it's great, right? So, but no, right, I'm at 14, and again, if you're paying for your appraisal out of pocket, then it shouldn't be 15. If they're gonna roll it in, then it should be 15. So 15,000 seems about normal. Just because you're putting 3% down. So I mean that's $7,000 right there.
When you're ready to refi, give us a call.
So,
Yeah, I definitely will need that.
We got a
for
guy.
sure.
yeah, no, and again, I say I could be low on your insurance, right? Homeowners insurance could cost more and things like that. So if you wanted me to take a look at it, and you're more than welcome to send it over to David or whatever.
Yep.
And
You got our
Um,
email.
I can take a look at your
Please.
disclosure. That's completely fine and kind of give you a better hands-on view. But yeah, say really I wouldn't be too worried about because again, you're probably gonna have an ACH $50 fee. You're gonna have a package delivery fee of like $50, because they have to give it to you on a flash drive or they have to print it out. There's just there's some fees on there that you're gonna go, really, 45, 50, $50, and you're like, is it worth fighting? And I fight all those. I just don't fight the expensive ones. So
Well, I'll fight the small ones if it's worth it, because I don't feel like I want to spend $50, $12 or whatever on anything. It's ridiculous.
yeah, no, and that's I think you're doing all right. As I said, I came up with about 14,000, but again, that's all depending on what your homeowner's insurance is. I know that they're up like crazy right now, insurance, but I don't know. I don't know what it's at. So yeah.
Okay.
I
And
know.
one last question.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
go
course.
ahead. Go ahead.
Before you get to your last question, you'd asked a couple questions, you and me, via text.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to hit on them in case other people have these questions too.
Yeah.
So
Shoot.
Marcus was asking me about, making biweekly payments and what comprises that. So basically you're cutting your payment in half and making half of it on the first, half of it on the 15th, or however those dates fall.
Yep.
And you're doing it every 2 weeks you're paying. So if you do fall on the 1st and 15th and the 30th or the 31st is also in that same month, that's where one of your extra payments come in.
Yep.
He had also asked me about paying extra on it monthly, and I always put extra on my biweekly payments. One of the things that people may question is that a good strategy? Now, Nick and I have had this conversation on the show before, and my feeling is you have to know what type of investor you are, because you could take that extra money and put it into literally anything. I mean, you could put it into
No, I mean no. So here's the problem.
not anything.
But here's the problem. He's quoted 5.99.
Right.
I mean, I did see one that was stupid. I wish I would have taken a photo
The
of.
CD.
We're a new mutual fund account, and these people were promising like 8%. So like anyway, if you go to a Flagstar right now has 5.35. If you go to a CD, it's 5.5. I mean, he's still losing money by not paying off that.
Right. But in a normal market,
Yes.
you would technically lose money if you're not investing it, because usually interest rates are below 5.
Right.
And you can make a 5% return anywhere. Like right now on our investment accounts, I think I'm making about 12 right now.
Right. Well, I say, and the average stock market is 10%.
Right. So, I mean, you could take that money and invest it instead and probably come out way ahead. But again, you have to know what type of investor you are. I know I'm the type that wants my mortgage paid off as soon as possible. So I'll have it paid off probably within the next 8 or 9 years, which will be way earlier than the 15 I refinanced in 2020. And I thought that was worth at least hitting, because again, people need to weigh their options out. If you're young enough and you want to, instead of throwing extra payments at it, invest, by all means.
Yeah.
If you want to get this thing paid off as soon as possible, take that money you would invest and throw it into this and get this thing paid off.
And I mean, I'm never against paying off anything, right? You know, to be honest, like I'm selling this property, I'm probably going to pay off quite a few of my properties, right? Because and they're at 4% interest, 3% interest, right? Because I just want them paid.
Yeah, you don't want to have to make that monthly payment.
Right.
Anymore.
I'm tired of going to Chase.
Yep.
They're tired of seeing me. I'm tired of logging in online. I'm tired of driving. I love seeing Walt. I'm tired of driving to him.
Yeah.
I'm tired of having to be home on the first. I'm tired of, like, sure, I want to be home for rents, but like, I don't know.
You want to do what you want to do when you want to
When
do
I
it.
want to do it, baby. That's how life works. So
What were your questions, Marcus, that I interrupted?
One of my last questions is, so this property has a HOA fee.
Oh,
Now,
God.
I've only understood HOA because I have a condo, like I said. Now,
Yeah.
okay, this makes sense, right? It's in a dwelling that has many units. Cool, okay, HOA. But on a primary, I have no clue why, or is it necessary?
Is the HOA necessary?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what they do. with
So-
the
oh,
HOA.
they're going to give you the bylaws. So you should have the bylaws right now in your hand before you sign this contract. Let me
100%.
repeat that, I guess. Before you sign to buy this house, you should have the bylaws in your hand. So David, you want to explain?
So they're literally going to tell you what you can and cannot do with your property, what you can and cannot have on your property, what you are allowed to have with you. Like, let's say you want a dangerous dog.
Mhm.
I had Dobermans growing up. They're going to tell you can't have that type of dog. It's an HOA violation. Let's say you want,
can't have a fence,
right, can't have a fence.
So now you can't have a dog.
You want to have a trampoline.
Can't have it.
Can't have a trampoline. It's an eyesore. No trampoline.
You want a shed? Oh, that shed has to match the exact siding of your house,
Mhm.
the exact color, right? So now, yeah, you were going to go spend $1,000 on a wooden shed or a plastic shed. No, now you have to spend $4 or $5 grand.
You have a kid. Kid wants to play in the front yard. Kids aren't allowed to play in the front yard. They have to play in the backyard. If they're in the front yard, that's a violation.
Yep.
And they charge you for all these violations.
Yeah, I say, you can't have sidewalk chalk, on
Yep.
on the sidewalk. It has, it can't be on the driveways because they manage the driveway and that's destroying the driveway. So that's why I say like some bylaws, if it's do you know how much the fee is?
It's $25 a year.
Okay,
Oh,
that's okay. So this sounds basically like,
Very
yeah,
cheap.
honestly, grab the bylaws. It's probably going to be very easy for you. It's going to say that there is some right of way somewhere that they're paying for and you're paying for the use of it.
Yep.
Whether, the farmer that they bought the land from still wants access to the road and he's letting you rent the road that you guys put in and do all this, but he still has rights and owns it for the rest of his life. And he's like, hey, you can borrow it from me forever for blah, blah, blah. You just got to pay me for it. And because, I don't know if you know this thing called easement rights, right? So if you do something for a certain amount of time, then you get easement. But yeah, so $25 a year, this HOA just sounds like it is to maintain a road, do you get, I don't know. It doesn't sound like you have,
A whole lot to worry about.
motorized fences and stuff like that. It's not a gated community, things like that. It sounds like there's something that they're forcing you to pay to make sure it stays maintained forever, right? It could be a fucking cherry tree that my wife and I are fucking buried under, right? And you're paying for my ass to live for the rest of eternity, right? But yeah, so just make sure you get the bylaws, figure out what they are, and then you $25 a year. Yep, those are the fun ones. Those are the ones I don't mind.
Typically in single family home HOAs, I mean, we're talking somewhere between 500 and $1,000 a month.
Yeah, same around here, 230, 280.
Oh, I've seen them way higher.
I've seen them, but like I was saying, like around here, man, that's normal.
We don't have as many around here.
No, but yeah, $25 a year. Shit. Yep. Just make and honestly, there might even be a thing in the bylaw that states that no rules can be changed. It literally is just for this easement. So just everybody that's on this, because another example of what it could be is you have city sewer now or city water, and again, that farmer gave up his land for you to be able to run that gas line, that water line, that line, and he's just going to get paid for it, right? Forever. So
Very interesting.
Yep.
That was definitely something I was just like, what the hell is this for a
Yep.
primary?
oh yeah.
I actually had no idea. I mean, like you guys mentioned, if you have like a gated community, and then of course that's
Yep.
what you're paying for. But for this kind of area, it's a beautiful area, but not 20. I mean, yes, it's $25 a year still.
Yep.
I could do something with those $2 a month.
Say, hey,
I've heard crazy things like you're not allowed to work on your vehicle in the driveway. You're not allowed to mow the grass on a Sunday.
oh yeah.
I
Wow.
work every damn day. If I'm gonna mow the grass on Sunday, fuck off.
Keith lives in an HOA. I mean, and he's the president of it. And he hates HOAs.
Well, the only way to have it if you hate it is to be the president.
That's it, man. But no, it's and yeah, so if you've dealt with them in condos, this one for $25, shit, this doesn't seem like much. Just grab the bylaws quick and make sure. What
Yeah,
else
I'll
you
do
got
that.
for us?
That's it. All
That's
I have
it.
so far. You guys have really shed some light on a few things that I was definitely confused about. David, thank you for bringing up that conversation topic we have via text, because I was for sure confused about that.
Yeah,
'Cause I've
it's
definitely
a
listened to.
it's a
Go ahead.
great thing to do if you want to get things paid off early. And when you break it down, you're not giving anything up. I mean, let's say you have $1,000 payment, you're paying $500 every 2 weeks. It's the same thing that you were going to do anyways. It's just giving an extra, full payment a month that's strictly to the principal. So it's not just that you're not paying the interest, you're not paying the escrow on that extra either. It's your full $1,000 going straight to your principal.
A year, yeah, I say because there's two extra. There's two extra 5-week
payments.
months, yeah, half payments that equal one extra payment, so 13 payments out versus 12 payments out a year. So instead of you pocketing it, it just goes there. So I don't get paid those anymore.
No,
I wish, man. I gotta start capitalizing on that. That's why I say it's funny. I used to charge, like my brother, it'd be $100 a week or whatever, right? And I'd charge weekly. And then all of a sudden the 5th week would come around and be like, man, what I gotta pay? You lived here that week, right? It's still the same usage, right? I'm sorry but if it was only a 4-week month, yep, you don't have to pay 4, wouldn't you? I was like, I don't charge you 5 every time,
well,
so
that was the tip you gave me when Caitlin was taking in a roommate.
Oh.
We were thinking about $500 a month. You're like, no, $150 a week.
yeah,
Because
it's much
that
more reasonable.
that 5th week,
Yep.
you get an extra $150.
That's damn right. But yeah, so it's that kind of stuff, man. You gotta think, baby. That's how life works.
That makes
so.
so much sense. Yeah.
He's like, Nick, you kind of got that. So
Critical thinking, David. Critical thinking.
Absolutely. They don't teach it anymore. I wish they did.
When you brought that point up, I had a huge debate about this a while back about how the younger generations literally don't have critical thought processes, and it's obviously being shown. You look at a TikTok or a kid that learns how to use an iPad before they learn how to mow a lawn or something like that,
Mhm.
and you kind of see where things are headed. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of I guess zombie apocalyptic people who think that that's going to happen, and really it's already happened in their generation for sure. So it's definitely an
Well,
interesting thing.
oh yeah, it blows my mind, right? Especially with the generation that sits here and talks about how, kids don't want to go do anything and okay, look, I was raised by my grandparents, right? Very much different. I mean, a little different than you because yeah, but I didn't have a fucking choice, right? I didn't get the opportunity. Like,
Mhm.
no, I just went out and my grandparents gave me chores all day, every
Mhm.
day. Like that's what I did for a living, right?
Yeah, I wasn't go pick up sticks. Can you go pick up sticks for me? It was go pick up the fucking sticks for me.
And so so it was two. I tell people all the time I had two choices, right? I can either go shovel the driveway, or I can get my ass beat, and then I'm gonna go shovel the fucking driveway,
Uh-huh.
right? Like it wasn't like I had one way or another. That driveway's getting shoveled, right? It's how bad do you want it? But so parents, they don't want to take responsibility for these kids being, oh, these kids are so lazy. No, you're the ones that fucking raise these kids. Don't sit here and say that, they're the problem. Oh, they don't know a
Yeah.
good fucking work ethic. You didn't instill it within them, right? You failed on your kids who are supposed to be the ones teaching these kids. So congrats to you for sucking that much at life that you're not willing to take responsibility. No, it wasn't me. I taught my kid better than that. No, the fuck you didn't. You worked your life away. So this is what a man fucking does. He goes to work all day and you sat here and did nothing. Like you didn't don't like take resp. It's two things that piss me off the most in life, right? When people don't take responsibility for their actions and people that lie, right? It really gets to me. It does. So yeah, when you say that, oh hey, these kids can turn an iPad on. Why? Because they've watched you sit around. I mean, don't get me wrong.
We're on our
I
phones all the time.
constantly on my phone. My daughter gives me shit all the time because I'm on my phone, right? I get that she can fucking work stuff better than me. And it's weird because like I've almost begged for the fact that I hope that she's 10 times better.
Mhm.
David, you know how stupid I am with a computer.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, it's just beyond
I
school.
showed her how to play with Tinkercad.
Right.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
I'm beyond school education level of stupid, right? Like I learned how to type on a keyboard really quickly. I know that I say ASL because that's the fucking letters that I knew, but
Mhm.
like I don't fucking know this. If you asked me where to put my hands, I would say the 4 on the left and the 4 on the right, but really it's just pinky or
No,
pointer
see, and
fingers.
I can type.
Yeah, I can't. Like
That was the best class I ever took in high school. You know your high school
Yep.
GPA?
my 3.8.
Was it really?
Yeah, I was a very smart student.
You want to know what my
Yeah.
high school GPA was?
2.
2.2.
Yeah, but also
You know how many people I heard from that I was a fucking idiot?
everybody
You know what my college GPA was?
4.0.
3.84.
Yeah, but you also know what classes I took in high school?
Auto shop.
I didn't have auto, but I took wood tech for 4 years. I took a parenting class. I took all of John Schwalm's business classes. Which again, to pass that class, you had to write 3 notes about the movie we watched of John Stossel. And my favorite ever was John Stossel has a great mustache. Grandma Schwalm was a very smart woman, and I bet you you're gonna circle this paper and with an A up top. And literally get it back and there's an A up top. And like that's all I had to do was fucking pass, right? Yeah, sales class. I had to present a fucking sale. Like I had to introduce, oh hey, I'm gonna watch you interact with somebody else and sell this thing. Hey David, I have this pen right here. Do you want to buy it? It's blue and it writes. Okay, great. Hey, you should do a little bit more eye contact. Okay, great. But like I took the easiest class. I took the easy way in life. Okay. And everybody thinks that it's like, oh man, you have to be rocket science to do this.
I knew I could sit there and get a C.
Yeah.
And-
Get degrees.
And I had teachers at the time ask me, they're like, you're smart. Why? And I'm like, I can do absolutely nothing to get a C. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
And at 47 years old, I'm still okay with that.
Yeah.
I did other things to learn. I was raised on George Carlin.
Yeah.
He always talked about critical thinking and how important language was and using the right words. And those were things that stuck with me. Not what I read of Mice and Men, which I absolutely fucking hated. It made me read one book in school that I liked, To Kill a Mockingbird. It's the only fucking book they ever made me read that I liked.
You and Boo Radley hanging out. You guys
Boo
BFFs.
Radley.
Said Boo Radley. But no. So again, these people saying that millennials are fucking lazy are the same people that raised the fucking millennials. So
They were the
Tell 'em-
boomers that raised them.
all right, tell them to shove
Or
it.
the
up.
elder Gen X that raised
Yeah,
them.
saying okay, congrats. That means you didn't beat the shit out of your fucking kids enough to make
You know what?
beat the shit out of their kids.
I didn't
right?
beat the shit out of my kid.
No.
But
She's
my-
lazy.
She's lazy, but she does have a good work ethic.
Yeah, she shows up to her job. Yes,
And she does her job, and she gets pissed off at everybody else that shows up to their job and doesn't do their job.
But we're all, as I say, we're all lazy in our own way,
Absolutely.
right? But like,
Will
yes.
she sit down and look at her budget? Fuck
no. Say that. Like, but we're all lazy in our own way, right?
She did tell me the other day that she finally sat down and looked at her budget. I said, all
Or
right,
she can go on vacation.
I possibly. I said, what did you learn? And she goes, I spent too much money on food last month and on house repairs. I said, no, you can't count the house repairs. Insurance paid for that. And she goes, oh, well, I spent way too much money on food. Good. Then we need to sit down and look at it further. These are things to look forward to, Marcus. You're going to have a kid someday, I assume. Maybe you will.
Yeah.
But if you have a kid someday, you're going to have these conversations and you're going to want to bang your head against the wall because they're going to go, nah, I don't care. Speaking of children,
Yeah.
my favorite interaction yesterday with your daughter while she was selling shit. You go, well, I staked you all this stuff to begin with, but you're paying for the filament next time. And she goes, I'm not paying for any filament. And the girl next to her goes, I pay for all my beads.
Dude, that little girl, yeah, say. But all right, Marcus, if you, no other questions,
That's it for me.
I appreciate you coming on, guys.
Thanks for inviting me, David. Thank you too, Nick.
Absolutely.
As always, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. This was a very fun episode. If you have any more questions, Marcus, you're always welcome to come back on, or feel free to just email David and we'll get you the best answer we possibly can.
Don't run away, Marcus. We'll talk off air for just a second. Thanks for
sure.
joining us this week, guys. I don't know what the plans is for next week, but we'll figure it out.
Drinking.
You've dialed in.
To Box and Brews, you might hear something
You can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use.
smarts of these
Because
stuff.
they know the brews.
And they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks.
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
Brews.
Bucks and brews.